everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Spotlight on Success with special guest expert Melissa Turner. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show today so that we can talk about this really powerful topic, which is the glass ceiling. And our topic today is how to break the glass ceiling without a hammer. And you are going to be providing us with some wonderful career strategies for women, so I'm so excited. So before we get into the meat of our conversation, let me give our viewers a little background on who you are. Melissa Turner is founder and CEO of Mainstream Services Medical Building Incorporated, and she has more than 20 years of experience working in corporate America, has held various titles in that arena, and has been graced with numerous honors and awards, including the prestigious Bank of America Award of Excellence, the highest award given to the top 1%, you heard me correctly there, of associates out of approximately 190,000 worldwide. That is amazing. Congratulations on that award.
Thank you.
Well, I am so excited to welcome you to the show so that we can really gain some insight, because I do think that this is a challenging topic for women, the whole concept of the glass ceiling. And tell us a little bit, Melissa, about how a person can tell if they've truly reached a glass ceiling, or if one even exists where they are.
Okay, well, some of the ways that a person can tell if they've truly reached the glass ceiling, it will always start with doing a self-assessment. We're not always completely honest with ourselves about what we've done career-wise and where we truly want to go. Once we do a self-assessment, there's another step that's very important, and that step is to get an outside person to kind of give you an evaluation as well. And I like to tell everyone when we start discussing about having someone else to do an assessment of you, don't take it personal. It's not personal, it's business, it's professional. So what you want is the hard feedback from that individual who knows you in a work setting, not necessarily a person who is a relative who can tell you about how you are personally. You want someone who is a part of your professional life to give you the true picture of what they see.
Excellent. And I think that is important because you want them to be brutally honest with you.
Yes.
So if after completing the self-assessment that you just talked about, if they have not reached the glass ceiling, what are some things that they can do? What would women do to, at that point, move forward?
Some of the things that women can do at that point to move forward is ask for additional responsibility. I know that sounds like, okay, why am I going to ask for more work than I already have if there's more that I need to do for myself? The reason why you want additional responsibility, even if it's not directly related to the role that you're in now, is for a variety of reasons. You want to actually be able to build your network. Once you get into some of the roles and you take on some projects that others don't want to touch and don't even want to talk about, it gives you an inner strength to know that you're able to do these projects that no one else thought were worthy and that you've done them well. These are things that help you build your professional character, as I like to call it, and it also gives you a chance to showcase your work ethic outside of the role that you currently hold.
And I think there's always that important piece of the puzzle, especially when you are thinking about advancing in your company and what are some of the things that you need to do in order to achieve that you don't, push yourself into an arena that doesn't leverage your natural strengths. Because I think in corporate America especially, a lot of times people can get promoted right out of their area of strength and get into a place where they're really battling with some weak areas and they don't perform well. So in this whole evaluation process and asking for greater responsibility, what would you say to women to kind of guide them or help them stay focused on their main strengths?
Well, one thing that I would say is always have a support network around you. You have to have people that you know who have done some of the tasks and who have done them better than you can at this point. You need mentors. Mentors are so important, whether they're currently in the company that you're working within or they're in another company. They don't have to necessarily be in the same field or across the desk from you, but you need someone who can give you that information and give you that guidance and kind of help you see where you have those weaknesses and give you steps to take in order to strengthen them. When you ask for additional responsibility, obviously you want it to be for a field that you haven't held before and what would be deemed as a step up for you, but that's not always necessary. Sometimes you may want to take that project or role or assist in a project that's lateral and not necessarily a step up.
Exactly, because it does showcase uh, new talents that maybe your superiors didn't know that you had. And so, in a sense, even a lateral move can be a step up, so to speak, without necessarily staying on the exact same track that you're on.
Exactly. I always say that the climb up the corporate ladder is not always a straight shot.
Very true. Exactly. I love that. That's cute. So, what would you suggest to a woman who, what would be your advice for somebody who's feeling really held back right where they are and isn't quite sure, what she needs to do next to break free from that?
Well, one thing that I would say first is never question the abilities that you have. No one knows what your work strength is better than you do once you're truly honest with yourself. The next thing that I would let them know is you have to look at what's around you. There are other people and other careers that are being nurtured directly in relation to yours that can have a positive or a negative impact on you directly. Everyone has an agenda and everyone has a goal. You have to make sure that you're aligning yourself with people who have goals that are going to project you forward. If you are not, you need to recognize that and know what you need to do in order to move around other agendas.
That's excellent advice. Surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and not people who are going to drag you down.
Exactly. It is very important. I can't stress enough how important it is to have positive people around you. Negativity is a virus, and no matter how much you try and ward it off, one way or another, it can attach itself to you. So you have to make sure that you recognize it for what it is and you move away from it effectively.
Very good. And so I have a question along these lines of trying to surround yourself with mentors. Do you advise women to even look at those within their corporate structure who might be deemed their competitors to learn from as well and to collaborate with?
Yes, I do. And reason why I would say that is because you have to know, one, who your main competition is if you're going after the same position. You need to be able to know for yourself or evaluate what their strengths and weaknesses are and how the two of you match up and what can deem them as being a better candidate for the role that you're going for. So I don't think that it's not necessarily that you should stay away from the person who is going for that same position as you, because what you want to do is you want to encourage growth, because in a corporate environment, the end result is the corporation is going to grow and it's going to be an organic growth or bringing in new clients, and it's positive for the corporation overall. So you still want to have a team player mentality even when you're trying to climb the corporate ladder and you're sitting right next to someone else who is your competition for that same role. And you never know, even if they were to get the role ahead of you, they may move on to another position and then know that you're a great candidate for that space if you still are interested in it and give you a referral or a recommendation for it.
Exactly. And I do think that people are always watching. And when they see you operating from that team mindset and that supportive mindset and the attitude of having a buy-in to the company's future, that it really puts you in the best light. So even if you don't get in that example the position that you were competing against someone else for, there may be some other opportunity that you're not even aware of that opens up and presents itself based on what others have seen you accomplish through the
Yeah,
process.
exactly. And others who are in a senior position may see a bigger role for you than you even see for yourself. So you
Hmm.
have to keep yourself open. You have to support all of the people around you, because at the end of the day, the company is interested in the growth of the company and not only you as an individual, but you as an individual in addition to the company's growth.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it's equally as important, not only your own track towards success, but also making sure that you're building the bench beneath you, so to speak, so that there are people who you are grooming to come up and take your position when you take that advanced step forward.
Yes, succession planning is very important. A lot of people are looking as when they move forward, but you have to also make sure that you take care of the role that you're in now. There's nothing worse than actually having cultivated a role and made it successful to the point where you were noticed and recognized and promoted, and you walk away from that role and then it fall apart. You have to bring people along. You have to share your knowledge. It benefits no one if you keep all of your knowledge to yourself. You have to share, you have to plan, and have someone who will be ready to step into that role for any reason if anything should happen to you.
Exactly. And I can only imagine that there are scenarios where you don't get a promotion because they don't have somebody to step in and fill your valuable position before they advance you.
Absolutely. So either way, you're shooting yourself in the foot by not actually having someone ready. So they say, oh, you would have been great for that role, but we have no one else who can do the job that you're in now. And guess what? You just got passed over, not because you weren't qualified, but because there was no one else ready to step into the role that you're in now.
Exactly. So bear that in mind, ladies. Always be building the bench. That succession plan needs to be in place.
Yes.
Why is it important to build this network around you? So not only maybe for promotional purpose, for the opportunities to be promoted, but what are some of the other reasons for having that strong network?
Well, other reasons for having that strong network is because it's not easy to work in corporate America. It absolutely is not. You need to have people around you who see the same things that you're seeing, and they have experiences that they can share with you that may not be your own. But if you do come across some of the things that they have, you'll be aware of it and you'll kind of know how you can handle yourself when that time comes, if it ever does. It's very important to have that network around you, of course, because other people would hear about things that are going on in the company before it actually hit the official circuit, whether it's the intranet within the company or memos or your direct leader. You can find out a lot more about what's happening and what's getting ready to go down within the company from a network than you will from the direct leaders.
Very important point. Absolutely. And it's just, again, goes back to that need for support. Always need for support with strong people around you because, as you said, corporate America is tough, very competitive.
Yes.
So you are just a wealth of information on this topic. So for women who are watching, who want even more information that you offer, where can they go? What resource is there that you've created for them to, really just grab onto?
Well, there's a book that has released on August the 12th of this year titled How to Break the Glass Ceiling Without a Hammer, Career Strategies for Women. This is actually the first book that I have participated in and have my official author status now. The title of my chapter is conveniently The Perceived Glass Ceiling. And one thing that I do is I give the opportunity for the readers of this book to take a hard look at themselves and use some of the tools that we spoke about and then a wealth of others in order to see, one, have you truly reached the glass ceiling? Secondly, if you have, what your next step should be and how you can navigate forward. And thirdly, one thing that a lot of people don't really think about is self-evaluating where you really are. Sometimes we spend a lot of time trying to climb the corporate ladder for a specific goal, and we don't even want that role anymore. Lives change, the perception change, and we change what we really want to do when it comes to our career. But you can't keep climbing the ladder for a role that you no longer want because you're wasting time. So we do have this book, and it can be ordered directly from my website at www.msmbinc.com/bookstore.
Fabulous. And I will have that link posted below this video on my blog site so that everyone can easily link to it and purchase their own copy. And I love the point that you just made there, Melissa, because it is so true to the importance of staying honest with yourself and what you really want out of life. And as you mentioned, things do change and our dreams, evolve as we evolve as individuals, and, really trying to make sure that you're following the right path that's in alignment with your highest priorities rather than trying to walk in somebody else's shoes. which I
Yes,
think is,
exactly.
so I love that your book chapter incorporates that aspect, because I do think that it is vital to success. Because you could certainly, run up the rungs of any corporate ladder all the way to the top, but if you're not happy once you get there, what's the point?
Exactly. And you have to be careful what you ask for because it looks pretty on the outside, but once you're in that role, you understand why it's as hard as it is to obtain.
Absolutely. Agreed. Well, this has been a fabulous episode today, and I thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us on the subject of the glass ceiling and really how to work through, around, over it, whatever you need to do in your particular scenario, and sharing with us also about your exciting book that is out. So, Melissa, thank you again so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, and have a great day.